Hi guys, John here. Just another one of my hopefully a little bit of encouraging tips. All I can say is I've been seeing some absolutely fantastic pieces of artwork on the line and wash site just recently. As you know, I'm partial to drawing and doodling little houses and stuff, and I just wondered if any of you thought about what you're going to do with your artwork afterwards, whether you use it, just put it to one side like I tend to do with a lot of mine, or whether you produce stuff with it. Like greetings cards is my favourite, and it's greeting cards that I do limited edition prints, but it's greeting cards I want to talk to you about today. People have said to me, John, what is it? Is it easy to produce greeting cards? Do I have to have lots done? Do I have to do big runs? Is it going to cost me to do lots and lots of them, and I don't know whether I'm going to sell any of them? Well, to be quite honest, no, you don't have to do lots and lots of them. You can do individual ones if you wish, if you want to do them all from home, or like me, I've stretched on from individual ones and right up to producing now. I get them printed out and I get them back in orders like this. They've all come back printed from it, and they're to be folded, cut out, creased and enveloped later on. As I'm saying, yeah, what it is you'll recognise some of these. These are my little houses. We've been drawing and showing you how to do them on my previous videos. That's one based on Whitby. On my videos and posts earlier on the line and wash side. I'm luckily enough, when I first started, money was a little bit tight. But I wanted to show people how to. When I went to shows and put shows on, people couldn't really afford. Those who couldn't really afford my originals or my limited edition prints still wanted to take home a piece of my artwork. So the best way to do it was to produce greetings cards. You'll have seen them. Most galleries do it now. Everybody seems to be doing it in galleries. Some galleries just do postcards. That's another way to get yourself out there. But if you wanted to make your first venture into this, there are several ways of doing it. It takes me back to the first time when I wanted to do one or two. I set off to start doing it for the family, and as you can see on the back wall there's a picture. I'll take my phone over it. Bear with me today, I'm doing this video on my phone. I'll take the video over. You'll see there's a painting. My house is full of paintings, but there's a painting on the wall there of my daughter reading a bird book. That I painted when she was 2. Well, bear in mind, next month she's 30. Yeah, I know, time flies. She's 30 next month. But I've managed to find out one of the original greeting cards I did. I took that picture of her and I turned it into a greetings card and sent it to the members of the family, especially grandmas and aunties and great aunts, because they all admired the picture and they wanted their little piece of it. But how could I just do ones or twos? Well, what I did was I actually photographed my painting, and I must please bear in mind that when you're taking a photograph, it's best to do it in natural light and slightly angled so that you don't get any reflections. I'll talk about that later. But what I would do is I would actually print it out on a small piece of photographic paper. You can get them in packs of this size glossy photographic paper. It tends to be 4x6 or 5x7 size. I was a little bit cheap. It was cheaper to buy A4 photographic paper and cut it into 4. So then I would be able to print out as many as I wanted individually. And then what I'd do is I'd get a piece of A5 card, fold it in half, and then having taken the photograph of my artwork. In fact, I've got one here, look. I've just been doing some dictionary pictures. I do some dictionary pictures. It's not easy to see on my phone. I've taken a photograph of it. I've produced it just for this particular video. I put it onto a piece of photographic paper, and then on there I would stick it down either with some luckily enough, we've got a very good art shop near us. I've used what's called spray mount. It's like an aerosol glue, making sure that I've got plenty of ventilation around me. Lay it down on some newspaper, spray the back, and then tentatively position that in the card. Then, having done that, it comes to packaging. You can get some cheap envelopes, and you get some reasonably priced envelopes. What I'd like to say to you is, please don't scrimp and scrape on your envelopes, because if you're doing some that you might do a set of 10 pictures. Let's just say you've done a set of 10 cards, and only 2 sell, and you're not doing another show for about another 6 or 7 weeks or 8 weeks. The glue on the back of the envelope, it tends to, I don't know how to put it, it goes off. I tend to buy, for instance, I buy, let's see if I've got an example of what I'm trying to say here. I buy peel and seal. It's a case of, it's like double-sided sellotape. You peel that off, and then this is sticky and tacky. Look, you see it's sticking on the back of my finger now, and that will keep it. Whereas if you're buying, let me just see if I've got the right one. I have. If you're buying the cheaper ones, which are the licking ones, not everybody likes to do that. They've got a shelf life, because if you leave them too long, if you look at that one, that's a fresh one. But if you look at one that's been left about 6 weeks, it goes brown, it goes off. Even with the amount of licking that you do, it will not stick or adhere to itself on the envelope as good as you want it to be. Especially if you're going to be selling these, you don't want these people, because a lot of people take them and say, oh, I like that card, I'll save that for our Emily's birthday, and that might not be for 2 or 3 weeks, or it might be, for instance, oh, that card there, it's a case of, oh, that reminds me of where I used to live. I might send that to Auntie Phyllis, who she used to live with. It'll remind her, but that might not be for the future, but they're buying it now to save for a longer date. So when you come to your envelopes, please bear in mind that when you're buying them, that the glue, if it's a lick and stick, can go off. So then it falls back on you. They'll not come for another one. They'll say, oh, that envelope that came with that card, it was a bit rubbishy, so I'm not going back to him, I'll go and find somewhere else. So that's why I've got the peel and seal, because that has a longer shelf life. People can save them for 6 months or whatever here. Some people put them in the drawers and then forget all about them. And then 12 months later they pay, oh, I bought this card for Mother's Day and I forgot to send it. I'll have to send it next year. Well, you've got to think about your shelf life. Then the next thing is, once you've done them, presenting them. It's a case of the card goes inside, so you can got your little bit of blurb on one side, a little bit, and it goes inside a cellophane bag. Now, a lot of people like this cellophane bag because it stops dirt getting on them. It also presents them really, really well. There is a problem with this though. You've got to find the right size. Now, when you do your printing, you get your prints printed out on A5 card. They're folded to become C6, A6. Yeah. They A6 cards fit perfectly in C6 envelopes. Where's my peel and seal? They fit perfectly inside there. My hands are, I'm shaking, never mind. They fit perfectly in there, peel, seal, done. Then you've got to get your set, but it's your cellophane bag that goes around your C6 envelope that you want. Now, there are some on the market that advertise them, because this is classed as a C6 envelope. When you go to buy them for an A6 card or an A5 folded card, you want a C6 envelope. When you go to buy them, they say that they're C6. Yeah, they're perfect C6 envelopes. Look, I bought these online, hadn't seen them. It's a very good deal, worked out pence. It's a C6 cellophane bag. It fits my A5 card perfectly. Fantastic. But what it did mean was, when it said it was a C6 cellophane bag, it meant it was exactly C6. So therefore, I can't get the envelope in. I can't get the envelope in there. So that, to me, is absolutely pointless. I've got a load of these, worthless. So I've now got to try and find another way of using them. I'll do it one day. Nothing goes to waste. What you've got to do is you've got to look for the ones that are slightly bigger. And the best way to do that is actually go to an art shop, a craft shop or whatever, and take an envelope with you. You can lay them on top of the package and you can see that they go inside. So once that's inside, you know that they're there. So it's best to check that they fit, because otherwise if you see them online and it says C6 and you've got C6 envelopes, you think great, they'll fit around my envelopes, but they don't. So that's one tip I fell foul of, buying without seeing. Now coming to laying out your cards, as I said, I'd got Photoshop, and also you can do this on Word and you can do it on Publisher, you can get Photoshop Elements, which is the cheaper version of Photoshop, but because of my background in graphics and advertising, I've been able to acquire Photoshop. Well, I bought Photoshop because it's the only thing I knew how to handle before I realised you could do it on other stuff. You're laying out of your cards. If you've got an A5, a C6 card, and you're going to lay it out on an A5 card, your picture goes on the right hand side, and your blurb about yourself goes on the back. It's always nice to have a little bit about on the back. It tells the customer who you are, gives your logo out. On there you can see that I've got the name of the card, what it was done in, the type, and my email address and copyright. Tyus Art. That helps for if you're doing, for instance, not everybody can buy your originals and your limited prints, as I've said, but they might take a card home, and then later on they need to get in touch with you because they've thought, well, I do actually like that card. It would look nice, a little bit bigger above my fireplace. So they can then ring you up and say, you know that card I bought from you, and as you can see, I've got numerous cards with houses on. I'd like a print. Well, which one is it? I don't know, it's got like greenhouse on and a yellow house on, and it's got chimneys on it. Well, they've all got green and yellow. So if you can give your artwork a name, for instance on here I put greenhouse, because it's got a greenhouse right back in the middle, but I've also put a number 2. So it's a series of 3. So they can tell me it's number 1, number 2 or number 3. So it's just a tip that if you're doing series of stuff, people might want to come back. And it also makes it a little bit more professional. It makes it look as though you are thinking about your artwork before you do stuff. And like I say, I've got a series of 3. These 3 are now just about to go on sale on my Etsy site as a set of 3. I have got others that are being prepared at the moment to go out to the printers, and they'll come back and then marketed again later on. You said to me you can do it yourself. I've seen people ask for advice on which printer to buy, whatever to buy. My thing with that home printing is I found that I was using too much ink. It was costing me more in ink and paper than it would be for me to find an online professional printer. I'm not here to promote them because I know we're global. Line and Wash Facebook is global, so I couldn't predict, but I'm here in the UK. I know we've got people in Canada, I know people in America, I know we've got people in Australia, we've got people everywhere. Oh, by the way, while I'm at it, let me just give a shout out. I've got a couple of people that I've been really, really inspired by over the last couple of weeks. I've been following their work ever so much. One's Roger Bilko, brilliant pictures of Pitt and Weir, mate, because I love that place, as I've said to you before. Jules Farmer, your wonky houses girl, brilliant. You could make some fantastic cards out of them. And Karen Headley, your sketchbooks girl, they are an inspiration. Anyway, I've just had to say that because they are 3 people that are on their work on the Line and Wash has been really inspirational. Right, now then, what about the layout of your card? As I can say, we've got a portrait picture. So what I do with that, as I've said, we've got an A5 card and we put our picture to the right. Yeah, I tend to leave a white border around the edge of it. It makes it stand out or jump up. It makes it jump off the page a little bit more. A bit like framing it when you're doing a painting into a frame. So you've got your picture on your right hand side, a little bit of blurb all about yourself on there, Remember, that's telling people where you are and who you are and what the card's all about. But what about if your pictures are landscape shape? Well, if you can remember earlier on, I posted a video where I recreated one of my favourite line and wash pictures, which was this one. Yeah? Well, that's what I've done with this one. This goes down really well because I think it's just one of my better pictures I've ever done. I like it anyway. It just gives me a lot of pleasure. What you've got to do with that is, a lot of people will put their picture on the top and then come to fold it and it's upside down. What you've got to think of is, if you're going to do it so you can see your pictures the right way up, on an A5 sheet of paper, the bottom half has got your picture facing right way up, but your text on the top is upside down, so that when this is folded over and you turn it round, it's the right way round, it's the right way up. People can see and read it right. A lot of people make the error of putting both these images the same way. They're opposite each other. If this one's the right way up, the text is the wrong way up. If you set your page out that way and you can see your text, it's the right way up on the bottom, your image is to be upside down, so that when you fold it, it becomes so that when it turns round and it's sitting on a table like that, you can see that it's the right way round. Remember, you're always putting on the details of what it is on the back so people can find it. Again, like I say, I get these printed professionally and they come in blocks like this. Yeah, I get them printed in blocks like this. They come already printed up and cut out to A5. All I've got to do is fold them. Well, you've seen me folding 2 or 3 of these cards earlier on, and if you fold them by hand that way and creasing, as you can see, the crease starts, I don't know whether you can see very well on here, but the crease starts to look a little bit dodgy. So what I've done is, well, how do I know where to crease? So what I've done is, I've been very sneaky. I've always had to find ways around things. It's the way I've been taught, the way I've been brought up, is to find quick and easy ways to help yourself. I don't think you'll be able to see it very well on here, but on my prints, right smack in the middle, is a little green line. It's about the size of a full stop, and one at the bottom. So I've got 2 pieces. I've got what shows me where the middle of that card is. I've then got somewhere I can rest my ruler to, so I can find those. So I can crease it using a straight edge. But how do I crease it using a straight edge? Again, a way around things I've come around easy for myself is to use a pizza roller. Mine's not very sharp. It's not going to cut my fingers off if I squeeze hard like that. It's not going to cut my fingers off. It's not going to cut the card. I'm not wanting it to cut the card, because if it cuts the card, it spoils it. All I'm doing is, I'll do one down here. I don't think you'll be able to see it very well. I'll see if I can find another angle. See if I can find my phone to show you what I'm doing. See if I can get it right. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. But basically, I'm putting my ruler along the part where I find the 2 dots, and then I'm putting the roller down the side of the metal ruler. I'm not pressing on very hard. What I'm doing that for is just to give me a guide for when I'll do one now. Then I will show you what I mean. I've got 2 little dots. I'm just rolling the roller just on top. It gives me a very small crease. Now, I don't fold straight away that way, because that will crease and break the card. Basically, I fold it the wrong way first. Not all the way, just like that. That will then set that piece of card flexible to fold back without cracking. And as you can see now, it's a perfect crease. No cracks. So first of all, fold it slightly that way to start it, and then come back on yourself, and you've got a perfect crease. None of this trying to fold it by yourself, as I showed you earlier on. Trying to fold it by yourself because what happens is you tend to get a big crease. Can you see how it's raised up? That's because earlier on I folded it and creased it myself. This one, if you can see, there is nothing there. Perfect crease. Very lightly with the pizza roller, fold it the wrong way partly, then fold it back and you will get a perfect crease. That's just one little cheap sneaky tip that I use, and just to remind you again, it's if you're doing it that way round, your image, if it's the right way up, your text is the wrong way around. If you're doing it the other way around, if your text is the right way up, your image is the wrong way around, so that when it folds in that way. These are just some tips that I've found through all the years I've been doing it. As you know from the picture at the back when she was 2 and now she's 30 this year, so that's 28 years I've been putting cards together, making examples of my work. If you could look, well, just look, my room, it's just full of artistic garbage at the moment. I'm not very methodical when I'm coming to trying to plan my videos, but because I do them off the cuff, just think about, oh, I'll do one of them today. Right, all I'd like to say is thank you very much for your time. Hope it's been a help. Please carry on doing all the good stuff out there. I really enjoy seeing all your work. It's one of the best Facebook pages on the web. If you like what I do, have a look at my Facebook page, Tyus Art Site, and drop me a line. Any questions I can help you with, I'll try. Thank you very much. Stay safe. John.